This always happens. Apparently, I just make a really good resting place. I'm trying to do some gourd art, but she's still here. This vine grew in our dahlia garden. So here you can see all the dahlias. And I noticed pretty quickly that there were some really cute gourds on it, which looked like this. But I wasn't sure when to pick them at the time, so I didn't, and I let them grow. And after I let them grow, they looked like this. So then I thought maybe they were squash, but was assured that they were gourds, but these ones were not picked soon enough. So I don't really know what to do with these, but we're gonna go ahead and pick the small one. I am here at my mom's house and she has all kinds of wonderful ideas for some fall bouquets for the farmer's market. Just to show you how crazy my mom is, but cool, I'm gonna show you a couple of things that she did.
I think Erin mentioned I'm crazy, so this will verify it in your minds. I thought about cattails. I've seen cattails in fall flower arrangements, and I looked and I looked, saw some on the side of the highway. That'd be a dangerous thing to to try to get. And as I'm driving home, here in the ditch in front of some stores close to my house are cattails, and they weren't fat and stubby. They were just the right size to use for an arrangement, I think. You just use a clear enamel spray on it. They recommended the new Mod Podge spray paint. It's not really paint, it's just a clear sealer, but it's just an enamel. You could just get clear enamel spray paint too. Spray all the sides of it. So I stuck it in styrofoam and spray all the sides of it, and it dries right away. It's still fuzzy to the touch. It's not real funny. It's not slick like you've coated it in clear paint. And these have been here in my house for a month now, and none of them have exploded, so I must have done a pretty good job of painting them. Okay, so then I got to thinking, well, the fall branches of trees are lovely, but you know, who's gonna buy a tree leaf that's all curled and like, oh, they cut me yesterday and I'm not pretty. So in order to get the tree leaves, I read that you take glycerin, and the cheapest place I found was Hobby Lobby to get the glycerin. Yeah, the glycerin like you use when you're making candles or whatever, that's it. Liquid glycerin, you put it into, I had to use like an iced tea pitcher, and you put 1 part of glycerin to 2 parts of water. So I put, since I was doing massive bouquets, trying out this whole experiment, I used my whole 8 fluid ounces of glycerin and 16 ounces of water. Stir it together, and then you just stick your branches in. If you end up having to put them in for a long time, you might pull them out and cut off the branch so it can absorb, because what it does, it absorbs the glycerin, and you're left with a very flexible leaf. I'll bend it in half for you and show you. This one is over 2 weeks old.
So you did not spray these? This was soaked
up? No,
up.
it just soaks up just like a flower would. This one has little berries on it. I don't know if they'll stay or if they'll fall, but it was a very dark, burnt red color. And the
Wait, let's pause. Can you hear her Christmas clock?
All year long, baby.
We are in August. Okay, proceed.
You have to have Christmas in your heart at all times. But anyway, so the glycerin does darken the leaves a little bit. I was looking for something that was a spring green, and and the smaller the leaves are better. Like the oaks and the maples, they don't do real well with this. So they said smaller leaves are better. So I got this red, bright reddish one, which is now a darker brownish one. And I got this one, which is almost the same color as it was when I picked it. It was just a little bit more medium green instead of an olive green. My poor, very light yellowy green leaves went way dark on me. They're beautiful.
Bronze color maybe.
They said some of them get finished in a week. You have to let them soak for a week. And some of them said a little bit longer, so I soaked them for 10 days. And by the way, your glycerin turns really dark brown, like a really dark iced tea. So what I've been doing is taking my corn on the cob, and when I peel off the shuck, I just make a loop of it.
The husk?
Mm-hmm, the husk. I just make a loop of it, tie it with a piece of thread, and then several of these can be put onto a really thin dowel rod. I'm thinking like the width of a skewer, like you'd put on shish kebabs. And you can either just put them as a plunge of color in there, or you can even make it to look like a flower. I mean, it's still from your garden. Almost like a rose type of thing. Whoops. Tie them together and glue them on your stick, and you have a really pretty flower. And the nice thing about corn husks, I know this from when I was a campfire girl and we were making corn husk dolls, is that you can put them in water with vegetable dye in it, which is just food dye, and it will soak up the color. So red might be a real pale red. It's not going to be fire engine red. Yellow will be a pale yellow. Green will be a pale green. If we need them, I'm starting a collection every time we eat corn. It's just my husband and I, so we're not very far in this collection. And lastly, there's something called pine cone flowers. Yeah, I know, it sounds weird. But you take a really heavy pair of shears, like pruning shears, and sometimes you'll have to go round and around and around and around your pine cone. But what you do is you end up with a flower. This is the center where I chewed it off. Well, it didn't chew it, but the thing chewed it off. And here's like the center. So this is your pine cone flower, which again you would glue to a dowel rod. And you can see that those would be really cute little things with your cattails and with a bunch of anything you'd have still going, a white marigold, anything like that. Now you've got pine cone flowers. And I think that it'll really impress the people. I don't take a lot of time with this. I've got half an hour before I go to bed, I'll make 2 pine cone flowers. I got 45 minutes before I go to bed, I make the corn on bits. So anyway, just some ideas. You may use them, you may not use them, but at least you're not stuck with nothing.